wake up, Darlin Corey. What makes you sleep so sound? The revenue officers are coming. He's gonna tear your still house down. Go away, Darlin Corey. Quit you hanging round my bed. You pretty women run me distracted. Corn liquor gonna kill me dead. Dig a hole in the meadow. Dig a hole in the ground. Dig a hole in the meadow. Gonna lay Darlin Corey down. The first time I saw Darlin Corey, she was standing in my door. Her shoes and stockings in her hand, and her little bare feet on the floor. The next time I saw Darlin Corey, she was standing on the banks of the sea. She had a 44 strapped across her body, and a banjo on her knee. The last time I saw Darlin Corey, she had a wine glass in her hand. She was drinking that sweet corn liquor with a low-down gambling man. Dig a hole in the meadow. Dig a hole in the ground. Dig a hole in the meadow. Gonna lay Darlin Corey down. Can't you hear those bluebirds singing? Can't you hear that mournful sound? They're preaching Darlin Corey's funeral in a lonesome graveyard ground. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. I do appreciate it. Yeah, that Darlin Cora, she's quite a gal, wasn't she? Man, drinking, shooting up the town. She had her 44 out on the beach there, and hanging out with a bunch of gambling men, and also selling herself. You know, that verse that goes, "Quit you hanging around my door, your shoes and stockings in your hand, little bare feet on the floor." That's kind of a dead giveaway of what Darlin Cora was doing to make money, besides hanging out with gambling men. You know, gals had to do, you know, there wasn't a lot of work back in the day for women folk. You could be a saloon gal. You can be a working woman, the oldest profession in the world. You can be a seamstress to make a little bit of money. There may be, you know, you knit a sweater, and maybe your neighbor would give you a chicken for it or something like that. You could be a school marm. That's a school teacher. They used to call them school marms. So fortunately, things have changed quite a bit. Now, women make more money than men in the United States anyway. I was watching Fox News, good old Fox News. Boy, they have all the answers there. They were saying women now make more annually than men do. So women have come quite a long ways. Now, the downside of that, you know, children are on the decline, especially traditional women in the United States. They're not having a lot of children because of the career. You know, I mean, you gotta, if you want to have a career, you gotta, you know, put things aside like having kids. they want to have them later in life, like in their late 30s and early 40s, where it's a lot harder to have kids. But, you know, to each his own, I guess. I'm not going to judge anybody. Thank you for watching. God bless. Till next time. I think we got a good one next time as well. It's a rock and roller. I don't want to give too much away, but if I can pull it off, it might be kind of fun, you know. Good old rock and roll. We don't want to forget that. Rock and roll will never die. Well, it did. It's still alive, though, I guess, in the memory of us old timers, you know, that are old enough to remember when rock and roll was still a very popular thing, and every other song was bragging about how rock and roll will never die, but it surely did. You can't go around bragging about stuff like that, otherwise it will die, you know. Take care, everybody. Oh, back on the wall you go. So I keep the banjo up there. This is the couch. The TV is over there, so when I'm watching TV, I turn down the volume and I practice the banjo, and I usually have a guitar over there too. So even though I'm watching TV, not really watching, just have it on to have it on. I'm practicing the banjo or the guitar usually. So, but I'm definitely a couch potato. I have to admit that. You know, I'm definitely guilty of being a couch potato. But I do try to stay busy when I can. You know, when I, you know, as long as it doesn't interrupt my banjo playing and guitar. Take care, everybody.